is super easy to stay on top of our kitchen now that we have it simplified. I have a kitchen with very low inventory.
If it's not serving you and you don't like it, it has to go. Let's get into some tips from the pros. Let's start with Kat.
You only start with one drawer, one part of a closet, one cabinet, or one pile at a time. And remember the 2 rules. If you don't like something and if you wouldn't buy it again, it goes.
I absolutely love this. I always say start with a junk drawer. The junk drawer is such a good place to start because you get an early win, an easy win, hopefully, and you get it out of the way. And then what I want you to do is walk by it over and over and over again and admire how gorgeous that decluttered junk drawer is. And if you are getting overwhelmed with your decluttering, you can always ask for help, like Joshua Becker says.
If you do, know that you need to trust them. Don't invite them over and then not take any of their advice, but bring someone over that you trust, that you know wants what's best for you.
And I agree, you do need to trust this person, but you also need to trust them to kind of kick you in the butt a little bit so that you're not feeling like you can just sort of say, oh no, I want to keep that. And they're like, okay, no, you want to let them know what your goals are, and we'll get into that in a bit. Your friend will probably be very helpful with your stuff from the closet. And listen to this tip from Dawn, the Minimal Mom.
I deserve to have clothes that fit and that I feel good in my wardrobe every single day. So no matter what size I am right now, here today, that is what I'm gonna build my current wardrobe around.
Oh my gosh, Dawn, I love this tip. She is wise, and I had never really considered this, but it's true. When we are maybe a little too big for our clothes or too small, really, we need to be sure that we have clothes that fit and not keeping all of the clothes that don't fit. When you are decluttering the clothes that don't fit, I want you to ask yourself, am I likely to fit this ever again or soon? And when I do fit it again, am I going to wear it? Because you just might not end up wearing it, especially if the styles have changed, because styles have changed over the years. Robert L. Banks has a really, really good tip here about decluttering versus organizing.
Don't confuse decluttering with organizing. Organizing is a great way to make your home or space efficient, but trying to organize clutter will end up wasting both time and money.
He makes a great analogy too, where he says that when you're organizing, it's kind of just like putting a Band-Aid over something that needs stitches, which is so not what you want to do.
You're buying containers and closet organizers, buckets and baskets, all in an effort to make your clutter look pretty and presentable.
Really, when you're just trying to organize clutter, you're just moving things around, and it is just like trying to put lipstick on a pig. Yeah. If we haven't met before, my name is Robyn, and I help people to shed the excess stuff, the excess clutter. We have been minimalist for about 4 or 5 years. I also help you to declutter all of that other stuff that is bogging you down. Now, Erica Lucas, who is absolutely fabulous, she has a really good reminder for us, and that is the boundary method, or you may have heard it described as the container method.
That you define a space, a boundary, a drawer, a basket, a bin, a shelf. You define a boundary for a category. I need to declutter until that boundary works.
I think this is so great. Like, you really just say, this drawer, this is only for shirts. This cupboard is only for plates or whatever. And once that spot is full, it's not taking anything else. Stuff probably should go. I love the container/boundary method. Now, have you ever considered that you should be ruthless when you're decluttering?
When people ask me how to know if they should declutter something or not, here's my response. If you have to ask yourself if you should keep something, then you probably should declutter it. If it's not a clear yes, then it's a no.
I think this is so great. If you ask, then it should be decluttered. Oh man, that is a good one. Really, when we are wanting to declutter, we truly are doing it for a very valuable reason, and we need to know what that reason is. Another great tip that Joshua Becker can share with us is this.
You could create a decluttering checklist. It's a lot easier to declutter when you have a visual representation of where you need to get started.
Yes, it makes sense to have a decluttering checklist, of course. You could very easily just write down every room and off the top of your head, put some things in there. And also, you could put down the spot that you want to do, like, say, the fridge or the freezer. Another great tip from Joshua is the 12-12-12 method.
Locate 12 items to throw away, 12 to donate, and 12 to be returned to their proper home.
I love this one because when I am decluttering or when I'm coaching people about decluttering, I say grab 3 boxes, 3 baskets, whatever. 1 for garbage recycling, 1 for donating or selling, and 1 for bringing things home. And what's good is when you have just those 12 items that you're looking for those things, it could go by very quickly. As long as you're making the right decisions, it will be so much easier. And I love his 12-12-12 method. Before you start decluttering though, and I have said, what is your why? And that is why I want you to listen to what Joshua Fields Milburn, one of the OG minimalists, has to say about this.
You want to ask yourself an important question. How might my life be better with less? And by answering that question, you identify what the benefits from minimalism might be for you.
This is important. Seriously, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and ask yourself, how might my life be better with less? Because the thing is, it could be so many things that you remove, not just the clutter, but the burdens, the commitments, all of the stress, all of the anxiety. Like, I mean, I know you're like, what? But seriously, getting rid of stuff alone can help. But as we start removing other things, including commitments, which is absolutely huge, you might even be saying to yourself, well, yeah, but how do I declutter? Well, let's hear what Matt Diavella has to say.
Step 1. Get rid of your shit. Regardless of the number of things in your home, whether it's 1,000 or 100,000, most of us have too much shit.
Okay, you might have seen that one coming. It might seem a little harsh, but honestly, we have a lot of extra stuff, and that stuff has to go if it is bothering you. And I honestly don't see how it couldn't be bothering you unless you really don't have any extra stuff, in which case, like, welcome, this is an amazing club, isn't it? We're gonna get to that in a second. And so often I think people are like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna be terrible, I'm not gonna have any fun, I'm not gonna have any stuff, it's gonna be like prison.
It isn't restrictive, and this is something that I was afraid of, kind of like I was afraid that I would miss things. In fact, the opposite is true. I have never had so much freedom in my life as I've experienced in this last year of adopting minimalism.
I'm so glad Natalie brought this up because I will be honest with you, since I have decluttered, my life is way, way better. It's not perfect, but it is way better. I have like 50% less work to do around the house. I'm not moving things around. I'm not fighting through closets and cupboards that are completely like full of things. It's so much easier to navigate. It truly is like running through a field, licking ice cream in the summer and just having a wonderful time. It's so good and I absolutely love it. And no, my life isn't perfect and neither is anybody else in this video. But the thing is, by removing a bunch of extra stuff, you are making your life so much easier and like pretty awesome. I think we all know this one, but we need a reminder from Shan.
I like to make sure everything in my house has a home, if that makes sense. So everything has a certain place to live.
I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said everything in its place and a place for everything. At least that's what Google told me. But it's so true. If everything has a place, then you're not going to have things all over your surfaces as long as that place isn't a surface. Once you declutter, you make room for things to have a home so that your home can be tidy. So when you open that drawer, it has everything that belongs in it there and no extra stuff laying around. One of the things you might be saying though is like, well, yes, but where can I take all of this stuff? I can't bring everything to a charity shop, and that's true. So where else can you bring some things? Well, Melissa Maker has some answers for us.
Linens, blankets, pillows, towels. Pet shelters love that kind of stuff, so you can take it there. Cleaning supplies, pet shelters also love those too.
I love this one because in the past, I have been guilty of bringing a few cleaning supplies and perhaps leaving them on the table at the church for people to find. You know, I'm sure they needed them, but it's great to actually like bring them somewhere where people actually will use them, such as the pet shelters. I love this. Melissa also mentions taking things to Best Buy, like electronics, which is so good. Around here, we used to have a place where we could bring everything like paint, electronics, all sorts of things. But I missed a vote somehow to where they decided to get rid of it, which is like crazy. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, this was a great tip from Melissa. And a really great way to either maintain or start decluttering is this tip from Shannon.
So every season I like to go through my home and go through each room and just make sure that we are not gathering too many items. And normally each season I can find at least 1 or 2 items that can be donated or that need to leave our home.
I think this is great. because you have your different seasons. So there's spring, gardening stuff, yay. There's summer, all the fun from summer, and fall, okay, Halloween, whatever. And then there's winter and the stuff that comes with winter. But the good thing is, when we're going through our things every season, we're making sure we're keeping on top of it. Or even if you're just getting started, that's a good place to start. Start with the seasonal stuff and then move on. It can get so much easier once you flex those muscles. And I love Robert L. Banks's take on decluttering sentimental things.
The stuff in our lives, sentimental or not, all have an expiration date. At some point in the future, the things we own and use will fade away. That's guaranteed. There's a phrase my dad loves to say that I feel fits this conversation perfectly.
And that's so powerful. So we can keep our things, we can keep our photos, we can keep our memories, but we can't hang on to things forever. How many times have you bought something and been like, this is amazing? And then you're like, oh my gosh, I am so over that. It's like that with so many other things. And sentimental items should never fall into that category. If you remember Peter Walsh, who used to be on Oprah, he would come on sometimes and he was wonderful. He talks about treasures. And so he says you shouldn't have more treasures that fit on your dining room table. So like this island, it's not a lot of stuff, right? So you should only have a few very, very special things that you call sentimental. I mean, you decide for yourself, but just because your family member left it to you or gave it to you doesn't mean you have to keep it. And even like kids' artwork or anything other, that makes you feel bad decluttering, if you don't want to keep it, take a picture of it, write the memory down. I love that idea. I love just like having a journal for all the memories you have and then saying goodbye to the thing. There can be some guilt with decluttering though. I am not going to lie. And Mary Beth from At What Cost, she addresses the problem of decluttering and feeling like you're taking time away from your family.
If you are in the early stages of decluttering your home and you have a lot of work to do, you may have to devote more time to decluttering some days than quality time with your family.
I love Mary Beth. She is one of my friends and she hits the nail on the head here. Because here's the thing. You may be like, well, I can't do this for the long haul. No, this is not for the long haul. This is for the short haul. This is so that you can create a healthier, happier environment for your family. There was a study done where they did blood work in kids and their C-reactive protein, which is an indication of inflammation showing stress in children in cluttered homes. You don't want that for your kids. I don't want that for my kids. So it's okay if mommy does some decluttering for a while and then snuggles little baby and then we have just a little bit less time with our kids, because in the long run, you're going to have more time with your kids. It's worth it. And Callie from But First Coffee has another take on guilt.
Maybe it's something that you bought and then you never used and now you feel guilty that you never used it and you feel guilty letting go of it. So what I want you to do is accept that it is okay to feel guilty letting go of something.
I completely agree with her. I have bought so many things and just been like, I can't declutter this. I spent money on this. It's such a waste of money. It's such a waste. It's a waste if you keep it. It's a waste if you're keeping it, cluttering up your home. And people say, I don't want to clutter up the landfill. Well, then it's just going to clutter up the landfill when you're dead. So say, I'm sorry about that. I will learn from the future, because when we're controlling what we bring into the house, we're making better choices. And I love Rachel from Nourishing Minimalism's take on this.
We have to avoid recreational shopping. And what do I mean by that? I mean shopping as a hobby.
So many people in my family have been recreational shoppers. They love getting a deal. They love going out shopping. It's a fun social thing to do. And I get that. I mean, I actually am not a person who really enjoys going shopping. When I was a teenager, I loved going to the mall, but our mall was awful. It had nothing good to offer. It was in a small town. But if that is how you are spending your time and you are hobbying yourself, you need to find another hobby. And I know that's not always easy. And remember, it's okay to sort of part with things gently, as Marie Kondo had taught us. I love how she does that. She thanks the item, but she really goes all out and she puts it in an envelope, puts it in the garbage. Okay, I think that's lovely. I'm not saying I do it. If you would like 73 tips for how to declutter, check out this video here, because I have got you covered. And I want to thank everybody in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.